Hello and welcome to the Vinyl Sanctuary. My name is Christian and I hope that you will join me in taking refuge in records. So I'm here today with my official entry to the 2026 vinyl tag, which has been put together brilliantly this year by David Atkinson. He's posed 20 questions to us members of the vinyl community who are looking to take part, and those questions have really encouraged a lot of food for thought for me, a lot of reflection, a lot of pondering in order to reach the answers which I'm now happy with to be sharing in this video. I also want to give a shout out as well to Jack over at the Vinyl Voyage, who very kindly gave me a shout out in his entry to the tag. So cheers Jack, really appreciate that. It brought the tag to my attention and I wanted to get involved and post a response. So I will also put a link to David Atkinson's channel, in the description box to this video you're watching now, so that you can go and look on the playlist over there at all the other entries which have been compiled for this year's tag. Okay, so there's 20 questions to go through. There's a lot of albums and songs to talk about and to show. So I will get cracking. I will be looking at my phone just to remind myself of the 20 questions and to make sure that I keep everything in sequence, and we will see how we get on. So this should be a lot of fun. I hope that you enjoy it, and do sit back and relax and let me know in the comments when I get to the end what you thought of my picks and how you would have answered these questions as well. Okay, so starting us off then, question number one is show your best vinyl or other format musical purchase of 2025. Okay, so I did get a lot of albums over the year, and there were three in particular that I absolutely loved to bits. So I thought I'd show the records which are put in bronze and silver, so to speak, just for a bit of fun, and then I will talk about my favourite, the the gold medal winner, in a little bit more detail. So my third fave of the year that I got this year was Slaughter on 10th Avenue by Mick Ronson. Superb album. It was his debut. In second, silver, delighted to finally now have a copy of All Things Must Pass by George Harrison. Beautiful, beautiful album. Really, really happy with that copy as well. It's in lovely nick. Picked that up as part of a job lot, and I actually picked up the Mick Ronson one as part of a job lot, come to think of it, but in a different haul. So delighted with those two. But my favourite that I got this year, without any doubt, just because of how often I've come back to it, is Mexican R&B by The Stairs, which is a cult album. Came out in 1992 from the Liverpool group The Stairs. There's the trio there on the front. And yeah, I've just been coming back to this so often since getting a hold of it. If you're into your 60s garage rock, your psychedelic rock, you're going to absolutely love this one if you don't know it. So it reminds me a lot in places of the likes of the Chocolate Watch Band. I hear a little bit of the 13th Floor Elevators in there in places, but there's no jug playing on there as far as I'm aware. I hear a bit of Birds in there, early Rolling Stones, even a little bit of Stooges as well, a bit of a Stooges kind of riff going on every now and again in some of the music. Who else does it remind me of? A bit of Captain Beefheart in there as well, actually. Them. So there's a lot going on in there. Edgar Summertime Jones, the vocalist and bass player there, has got a really distinctive voice. Quite a lot of vocal affectations going on throughout, but I really, really enjoy his delivery. I do think he's really trying to conjure up that sound of, those nuggets sort of tracks that you got on that very famous compilation put together by Lenny Kaye. So, groups like the Seeds and the Standells and bands like that, you're going to hear a lot of that type of psych and garage rock in these grooves. So yeah, it's just a really superb album, this one. Got a lot of time for all the tracks on there. But, Weed Bus is a bit of a minor classic. Got great lyrics on that one, which is reminds me in places, it's almost like a bit of a mashup of The Last Time by the Rolling Stones and Magic Bus by The Who. Russian R&B is really, really good fun. That one makes me laugh when he's talking about his trainees being sound in a very Scouse kind of a way. Mary Joanna's a really good opener as well. Mr. Windowpane. Yeah, there's really a lot of great stuff to be heard on that one. So very, very happy indeed with Mexican R&B by The Stairs. My copy sadly does not have the original inner on it, but that was reflected in the price that I paid for it. It is quite a difficult record to get hold of. I don't think it'll be one that many people will encounter in the shops. If you do, then you're very lucky, and I would highly encourage you to please buy it. I'm over the moon to have that. And if you're in the like into the likes of early noughties groups such as the Coral, I would say that this group, the Stairs, has definitely been a big influence on those sorts of bands. I hear a lot of the Coral, or what the Coral went on to do, in this sound here. So yeah, bands like Love, all that kind of stuff, you're going to really, really enjoy Mexican R&B. Okay, so question number two then. Share your favourite live musical experience of 2025. Right, well, that was a really easy one. That was Oasis for me. I went and saw them in Heaton Park. It was an amazing day. It was boiling, boiling hot. It was right at the start of the tour. Went there with my wife, who'd never seen Oasis at the time when they were originally, doing the rounds, so to speak. I went with a load of my best friends as well. One of my friends, best friends, came over from Australia with his son, who I'd not seen for, I think we worked it out, it had been about 18 years. So he came over as well with his son. So that was a really special moment. And what made it extra special as well was that I took two of my nephews with me. I actually promised my two nephews many, many, many years ago that if Oasis were to ever reform, that I would do everything that I could to make sure, that I went to see them with them. And yeah, both the nephews, that they're cousins, obviously, born a month apart from each other, both 27 years old now. So that was their first time watching Oasis, and they had a grand old time as well. So yeah, just an amazing day, and great support on the day as well from Cast and Richard Ashcroft. So just in the spirit of it being a vinyl channel, I'll just show you my favourite Oasis album, which is definitely Maybe. And they played some of my all-time favourite songs off this album on the day. So Bring It On Down is my second favourite ever Oasis song, so they did play that. Cigarettes and Alcohol, of course. Rock and Roll Star, Live Forever. Just a brilliant, brilliant day. Slide Away, of course, as well. Yeah, they played a good number off this fantastic debut album by Oasis, so definitely Maybe, and that was my favourite live experience of the year. Okay, question number three. Your vinyl record collection in 10 years' time, is it bigger, smaller, or about the same? Explain why. 10 years' time, I would have to say it's going to be bigger. I'd have to. I'm a big, big collector. I have been for more than 30 years now. And actually, this year, I did invest in some more shelving, tried to create a little bit more space here at home to acquire some more albums. So I have got quite a comfortable amount of space now to keep building my collection. So I think for all those people out there, not only us creators of content, but people that consume it, we're all really into our vinyl, and we all love the music, and just sustaining that passion. So yeah, I would like to think that come 2035 that I'm going to have more albums and more vinyl in the collection than I currently have. So yeah, great question, that one, David. I did have to think it over for a little while, because I'm sure there's people out there that maybe have to downsize collections every now and again due to spacing issues, but hopefully that won't be the case for me. So I'm going to keep on keeping on. Okay, so question number four. This one made me laugh. You move into a new home, you play one record, turned up to 11 to announce your arrival. What is it and why? Okay, so there was quite a lot of records in contention for this one, but I've actually based it on, it is a true story, but I wasn't the person moving in. I actually had neighbours moving in next door to us. So before I show the record, I'll just tell the story very quickly. So we had our neighbours move in, and I was playing this album that I'm about to show you now. I was playing it rather loudly. My wife was telling me to turn it off because she couldn't stand it, and she was worried that it would upset the neighbours who were just, were in the process of moving in. Anyway, it turned out that after a conversation with my neighbours, number one, they hadn't heard it, which means that the walls in here must be pretty good. And number two, they were into a lot of very heavy rock music, a lot of metal, that type of stuff. And yeah, we ended up having a really good chat about it. So I felt like I had to choose this album just because it does make me think of that day when they moved in. So coming up next then, and I did have it turned up to 11, we have got the Horrors with Strange House. So again, you know, different in a sense to the Stairs, but when I was talking about the Stairs a little earlier, and I was saying about there being, you know, all those 60s psych influences, this has got a real kind of psych quality as well to it. I do hear a lot of that kind of 60s influence in these grooves. Just show the gatefold here on this one. I know I've not been showing the gatefolds on some of the others, but I'm conscious that if I start pulling every record apart that I've got here today, this video could be super long. It's just that I don't think I've shown the Horrors on this on the channel at this point of recording, so it might be nice just to show this one in a little bit more detail. Have shown George Harrison before and Mick Ronson and some of the others. So yeah, I did have this blasting out on the day they moved in. And again, you know, this sort of album, it reminds me a lot of like the Seeds, a lot of, again, very Nuggets inspired, I would say. A lot of psychobilly in here as well. You know, I hear quite a lot of the Cramps and punk and all kinds of influences here. So, I mean, Jack the Ripper's the opening track, which I know was definitely blasting out as the neighbours were moving the gear in. Counting Fives is an absolutely tremendous track as well. It's my favourite song on the album. Sheena is a Parasite as well is superb. So I think that that would be a great album to play if I was going to announce my arrival, if I ended up moving house or anything. And I think it'd be a great icebreaker. It's a nice way to test what your neighbours are into. Can they handle the horror of the Horrors, or are they like me and think it's you know, absolutely amazing, wonderful music, which I certainly do. So yeah, big fan of that album. Please do check it out. Strange House by the Horrors. Really good band. Very good at mixing up their sound from release to release. Okay, yeah, so it made me laugh, that one, David. I appreciated that one. Great question. Okay, so question number 5 then. Show 2 albums, one each for your favourite male and female singers. Why these 2? Okay, so male singer, my favourite singer of all time is Freddie Mercury. So the album I'm going to show to represent Freddie is A Night at the Opera by Queen. Love this album. I just think Freddie's vocals throughout this record are sublime. I mean, you could say that about everything that the man ever put out in his lifetime. You know, every performance, every recording had his soul imbued in it, his spirit, his heart, and I think that's why Freddie is my favourite singer ever. Certainly in the rock sphere, there are a few soul singers that I love as well, who I would I'd put on a parallel, you know, on the same level as Freddie. But Freddie's my favourite overall. You know, I've loved him from being a kid. Just think his voice is magnificent, can sing anything, and it has got some of my favourite vocal performances of his on this album. You know, You're My Best Friend, for instance, so I love his voice on that. Of course, it's got Bohemian Rhapsody on there as well, so yeah, simple pick for me would be Freddie. And then female singer, my favourite female singer after a lot of deliberation, again, there was a lot of names in the hat, but I went for Kim Deal. Now, I could have picked a Pixies album to represent Kim because I love so many of her contributions to the Pixies. I do think she was their, you know, their secret ingredient, secret weapon, so to speak. Those vocals, those, you know, beautiful pure vocals, the way that they would contrast with, like, you know, the screaming and hollering and the shouting of Black Francis was just an amazing combo in the Pixies. But I've gone for the Breeders, which was Kim's, you know, Kim's project, Kim's band, and The Last Splash. And this is another great album, and her vocals throughout this album are superb. What I love about Kim Deal's voice is that she can sound very kind of sultry. She can sound very engaging in many different ways. She can use her voice so well to tell stories within her songs and her delivery, and it's just a voice that I'll never tire of, and she's utterly magnetic to watch live as well. Amazing charisma on stage. You know, I've watched the Pixies many times live, and she never ever disappoints. So I am very pleased to have chosen The Last Splash to represent my favourite female singer. Of course, you've got Cannonball on here. Her attitude on that song is superb. Divine Hammer's another great one on there. So yeah, please do check out Kim and the rest of the group there on The Last Splash, the Breeders. Okay. So number 6, we like to have fun here. Show your top 3 soul dance records. Okay, so my top 3. So we've got a couple of compilations in here. So the first one is various artists. This one would be just to get my dance moves going. You know, I'm feeling a bit. I've got the soul going now, and I just want to get warmed up. I will start off with Motown Gold. Just a great way to get my, you know, get the old hips moving and get into the spirit of having a good old boogie. Just every track on here is just amazing, absolutely amazing. So, you know, I'd be shaking my stuff to the likes of Reach Out, I'll Be There. Heard it through the grapevine, is fantastic. Oh, this is so good all the way through. I think I'm just going to read the lot. So Reach Out, I'll Be There, Baby Love, Heard It Through the Grapevine, Gonna Make You Love Me, Walk in the Night, I'm Still Waiting, Yes to Me, Yes to You, Yesterday, I'll Be There, Jimmy Mack, love that one, Mark Reeves and the Vandellas, You Are Everything, Help Me Make It Through the Night, What Becomes the Broken Hearted, couple of slow ones on there, but I'd still be dancing to them. Stoned Love, Got to Be There, Just My Imagination, Running Away with Me, The Temptations is great. Your Kiss is Sweet, Tears of a Clown, that's got a great groove to it, Smokey Robinson, The Miracles, and then Machine Gun by the Commodores to finish. So that will get me started. Then, just when I've got getting my energy levels up, this is when I'm going to go flat out now with the soul dancing. A lot of funk in here as well. I would then move on to the best of James Brown. So I would really be getting a cold sweat on now, dancing away to these tunes on here. So yeah, get up, feel like being a sex machine is the opening track on this one. Make it funky. Papa's got a brand new bag. Get on the good foot. Gonna have a funky good time. Cold sweat, honky tonk. It's a man's world. A little bit slower that one. That'll give me a bit of a breather. Gravity. Then we've got Living in America. Get up off of that thing. Body Heat. Hey America, please, 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 beautiful tune. Hot Pants, Think, I Got You, I Feel Good, bit of a banger right towards the end, and then Say It Loud and Black and Proud. So absolutely love this compilation. So I would definitely be getting a dance onto that one. There we go. Hopefully you can see all that properly. Best of James Brown. And then because I would need a little bit of a chill because of all that dancing, but something that I could still move around to. So this is almost a bit of a kind of a chill out album, but with some dance still in there as well. I'm going to finish up with, let's take it out the packaging, The White Room by the KLF. And the KLF were my favourite band as a kid. They really were. After I'd moved on, well, not moved on because I still adore Simon and Garfunkel, but they were my first musical love. But then when I was still kind of, you know, junior school time, moving towards high school, the KLF were where it was at, the likes of Two Unlimited and all that lovely techno stuff. I was well into all that when I was younger. So yeah, this is a great one. You know, What Time Is Love is on here. Make It Rain, 3am Eternal. Last Train to Transcentral, Build a Fire is great as well. No More Tears is superb, Justified and Ancient to finish as well. So again, that one is it's a dancey one, but it's got a little bit more chill to it. So that would be a really lovely listen after I'd been grieving away to the Motown compilation and to James Brown as well. So they are my three picks for the soul dance records. Okay. So coming up next then, right, a real stinker, question number 7. Nominate a track that you hate from an album you love, why the hate? Yeah, took me a bit of time with this one, but I did choose one in the end. So the song I'm going for is Some Girls Are Bigger Than Others, and that is from the album The Queen Is Dead by the Smiths. So just take it out of the packaging. So this is an album that I do absolutely love. Came out in 1986, arguably the Smiths' greatest album. Might be my favourite, I would say. I do love this album to bits. But the reason why I have a problem with Some Girls Are Bigger Than Others is I just find that the lyrics are really throwaway. I've never cared for the lyrics at all of it. I just think that given how beautiful the actual musical composition is by Johnny Marr and the amazing rhythm, you know, the rhythm section contributions of Andy Rourke and Mike Joyce. Musically, it's sublime, but the lyrics, I just think, just really let it down. I really do. I just think they are amongst the weakest set of lyrics I felt Morrissey ever contributed to the Smiths. Some people might disagree with that, but I think as I'm getting older as well, the more I hear it, the more it irritates me. Hate might be a strong word towards it, but I do dislike it. And I just wish in some respects that they had maybe just made it an instrumental piece to finish. That would have followed on beautifully from the sheer amazing gorgeousness of There Is a Light That Never Goes Out, and just to give it a different title if it had been an instrumental. But I felt that was a fair pick for me for a song on an album that I really don't care for, that I do love. Nah, not got much time for that one. Okay, that song, I mean. Okay. So next then we've got, if you had to pick only one album, so this is question 8, from each of the last 6 decades, what would they be? So that's the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the noughties and the 2010s. Right, so I have to do some digging here and move around to different parts of the house to get all these. Okay, so the 60s one, really simple, really easy. Favourite album of the 60s without any doubt whatsoever, it's the Velvet Underground and Nico. 67, of course, probably my second favourite album of all time. So that's my 60s pick. Okay, then 70s, we've got my favourite album of the 70s, and again, one of my favourite albums of all time. You're going to hear me saying this a lot here for this bit, but I think that was probably the intention of David's with this one, is basically picking our favourites of each decade. We have got Joy Division with Unknown Pleasures, 1979, post-punk masterpiece. So that's my 70s. Just taking them out of the packaging so you can hopefully see them a little bit clearer on camera. Okay, 1980s. So this is my favourite album of the 80s. And again, one of my favourite albums of all time. From the 83, we have got Script to the Bridge by the Chameleons. As you can see, this is a restored and remastered version. Hasn't got the original artwork as rendered by Reg Smbies. It's like a variation on it, but an amazing album, that one. Script to the Bridge. Post-punk again, superb. If you're into your early U2, please do check out the Chameleons. But for me, they are just, that is just an absolute gem of a record. That one, that should be in everyone's collection. Certainly, if you're into your post-punk, in my opinion, great album. But I would say that for all these. I mean, the Velvet Underground and Nico and Unknown Pleasures should be in anyone's collection, in my view, as well. Okay, so now we're up to the 90s. This one was super easy because it's my favourite album ever. So as I mentioned just before, I'd probably say that the Velvet Underground and Nico is my second favourite album ever. This one is my favourite album ever by anybody, and it is The Bends by Radiohead. So super easy to choose that. A perfect album for me, this one. Perfect. Love everything on it. And as a guitarist, it gives me everything as a guitarist that I want to hear in an album. All the different styles, the textures, the moods, the use of acoustic guitars, electric guitars. That for me is where it's at. Adore that album. That's my favourite ever. I've loved it from the time it came out. Okay. Now, with the 2000s and the 2010s, I took a little bit more thinking with them. So I wanted to show 2 albums here that I don't think I've shown on the channel at all at this point in time. So this one here I absolutely love it. I've got here the 80s Matchbox Beeline Disaster with Horse of the Dog, their debut album. I think this was from 2005, I think this was. And this is just superb. It clocks in at, I think it's about 28 minutes or something like that. It is just completely deranged and unhinged, but it is just marvellous. It really, really is. This is the 20th anniversary edition of it that I've got. I will show this one off in a bit more detail because it's a really lovely press in this one. But again, if you're into the likes of, I remember hearing this and thinking it was like a mashup of the Doors, the Cramps. I could hear the Gun Club in there, the Damned, like all kinds of things going on in this mixture. But there's just nothing else that sounds like it. I love this album so much. Horse the Dog. I was listening to this pretty much obsessively, like non-stop, when it first came out. Picked it up on CD when it came out, and loved it ever since. So I was delighted to finally get a copy of it, a repress of it on vinyl. So these are all the bits that are inside it. I'll show these off quickly, and then we can keep on moving. So that's the inside there. And I think this version of it that I've got was like a limited run of it. Yeah, it was, because I think mine's got some B-sides with it as well. I don't know if the subsequent reissues of this had the B-sides included. I pretty much got this one as soon as I knew that it was being released. I was just all over it. Did not want to miss out on getting hold of this one. I really didn't. So yeah, group. Think they came out of Brighton from memory. Guy McKnight was the lead singer, and yeah, just a short-lived group in the grand scheme of things, but got a really hardcore following from what I understand. Sadly, I never got to see them live. I would have loved to have done. I think their live performances have kind of gone down now in sort of the annals of cult rock history. I think for anybody who did catch them, people talk about it being unforgettable and just pure, unadulterated rock and roll, which is what you want. But yeah, please do check out the 80s Matchbox Feline Disaster. I always love that name as well of the band. Yeah, just really full on, like psychotic, sort of psychobilly punk, bit of blues in there. Yeah, it's really really full on. A lot of Pixies is another group I should mention as well. That there's a lot of Pixies. There's a lot of screaming and shouting going on in here, but it is just superb. And then in other areas, Guy's voice sounds almost quite sort of croony and quite really tuneful as well. Great performer and a great band behind him as well. So there you go, 80s Matchbox. And then my entry for an album from the 2010s. I've not got many albums in my collection from the 2010s, but this one I do really love. And this is a chap. I think his name is William Doyle, but he used to go under the name of East India Youth. And this record is called Culture of Volume. And this one here is very different in mood and tone to the 80s Matchbox. Very ambient in places, reminds me quite a bit of Eno in spots. Carousel is this tune on here that is just absolutely splendid. Honestly, I love listening to that. One of those songs that I get lost to when I'm listening to it. William's voice on it is just incredible. Reminds me a little bit of Stand Low by OMD, that one. And there's just some really nice sort of indie pop, not really indie pop, sorry, synth pop elements at play throughout the album as well. The End Result is a great example of that. Just very tuneful, but this guy can really sing. He's very talented. He's a multi-instrumentalist as well. Not much to show there in terms of the inside of the gatefold. It just looks like sort of static or something there, isn't it, inside there? All pixelated there, like the front cover is as well. So yeah, I kind of get the feeling with this one that it might be a record in the years to come that might be maybe seen as being overlooked in its time, or a bit of a bit of a gem. I mean, I know a lot of people that have heard it now because I've tried to get a lot of people into it, and the response to those I've introduced it to has been really positive. So yeah, if you're looking for something a bit more kind of low key, but very much kind of in the dance, no, sorry, not dance. I need to correct myself, get these things right. The electronic, electronic kind of sphere. As I said, a bit of ambience, electronica. Then please do check out East India Youth, Culture of Volume. Okay, so let's move on. Right, question number 9. You get the opportunity to spend the day alone with one artist, walking a mountain trail, the beach, or hanging out in the city. Who would be that artist? Right, well, that artist would be Lawrence. Lawrence, who is the founder of Felt, who are one of my favourite groups of all time. Then he went on to do Denim and then Go Kart Mozart, who then became Mozart Estate. Just a fascinating individual is Lawrence. I would love to spend the day walking around London with him, because I do believe that Lawrence's knowledge of London is extremely impressive, and he's some walker as well, according to Will Hodgkinson, who has written a wonderful book on Lawrence called Street Level Superstar. I highly recommend that book to you all. Even if you don't know who Lawrence is, if you've not heard of the musical projects he's been involved in, it's just an amazing read, very compelling, and it's a great insight into a very unique individual. So David then, for question 10, then has what would be your must ask question. So 9 and 10 are almost like one question split in half. So there is a question that I've always wanted to ask Lawrence, because it's been bugging me for years and years. I've been into Felt for over 20 years now. So way back in the day, Felt, their debut album was released and it was called Crumbling the Antiseptic Beauty. Superb album. It's only got 6 tracks on it. It's just amazing. Jangle pop, indie pop. If you're into your sort of your Durruti column, that sort of stuff, you're going to really love this early Felt album. And as you can see here, the original pressing of it, you can see Lawrence's face there in full. But then the record was, the album I should say, was repressed quite soon afterwards. Came out on the Cherry Red label, and as you can see, I've got both versions of it. There's a big black bar now obscuring half of Lawrence's face. And this is a question, it might not seem like a particularly great question to people tuning in, but it's one of those I've always wanted to know the answer to. So I would be saying to Lawrence, why did you re-release Crumbling the Antiseptic Beauty and decide to put that big black bar across half your face there? It's just something that's always intrigued me. Don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's a manufacturing fault, whether it was even intentional. I've asked the question before on the channel, and I've asked Felt fanatics to get in touch if they've got the answer to this. I've actually as well done a Felt album ranking video on the channel, so if anybody's interested in watching that, if maybe I've piqued your interest in Lawrence, then please do go and watch that video. I'd be really appreciative if you did. So that would be my question to him anyway, to Lawrence. What was all that about with that change in the album cover art? Okay, so 10 questions down, 10 to go. So at this stage, I would just like to say, if you're still here, thank you very much for listening to me, and thank you for your attention. I really appreciate it, and I do hope that you've enjoyed my contribution to the 2026 vinyl tag thus far. Okay, so number 11 then. Show a record that contains a track that always brings a tear to the eye, or are you a heartless bastard? No, I'm not a heartless bastard, far from it. Music is definitely something that very much enables me to be in touch or be connected with my emotions and my feelings. Music, as I'm sure it'll be for everybody out there, is with me through the good and the bad. The track that I've chosen here is a song that makes me think of a very, very dear friend of mine who sadly is no longer with us. Taken far too soon, but I had the immense pleasure and privilege of knowing him for well over 15 years or so, and we had some amazing times together, going to gigs, travelled to Coachella with him way back when, over 20 years ago now, and he loved his music, and we were always trading music recommendations with each other. And this group here were amongst his very, very favourites. So whenever I hear this track, because I did watch this band with him a few times, it does make me think of my mate up there. So I am going to show here, the song is The Wild Ones by Suede, and it is on the album Dogman Star. So there's loads and loads of songs I could have picked for various reasons as to why they bring a tear to my eye, but The Wild Ones is definitely one where I do get very emotional hearing that one. And yeah, I mean, it's just a beautiful song on what is a beautiful album. So please do check out Dogman Star by Suede. It's a masterpiece, that record, from beginning to end. I love everything on it. I still think it's the greatest album they've ever released, and they're still going strong as well. They're still putting out wonderful material. So Suede, The Wild Ones would be my answer to that one. Okay. So coming up next then, we've got, let me see. Yeah. So a bit of a cop out here, I'm afraid. I could not answer this one for love nor money. I couldn't do it. So question number 12 was, show 3 albums from artists you've tried to love, but you're questioning why you bother. Really sorry, David. It sounds like a total cop out here, but I just couldn't think of anything that I've got in the collection that I would say I've tried to love. I pretty much only actively collect music and albums by bands that I do love, or certainly at the very least like and have grown to love. So yeah, I tried really hard with that one to think of an artist or a band in my collection where I think, am I really even that asked about this stuff, but I really couldn't think of any. So apologies for that one. I don't know if anyone else out there who's doing this has struggled with that one, but yeah, I'll have to pass on that one, I'm afraid. Okay, so moving swiftly on then. Question number 13. Show an album from an artist whose character disappoints you, or you can separate the artist from the art. Right, okay. Well, I think it's because he was in my thinking with an answer a little earlier, but again, there's a lot of artists and musicians I could have chosen for this one. I'm sure it's been the case with everybody else. There are people out there who, just because they've got the ability to make great music, doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to particularly like them or think much of them as people. So I have gone for Morrissey again. I mean, I mentioned Some Girls Are Bigger Than Others before, but he is certainly a person who, without question, musically, whilst without getting into all of that from, should we say, a principle point of view and viewpoints and things, definitely don't agree with a lot of what I've heard. But in terms of talking about him as an artist and the songs he's written, I do want to pay acknowledgement to that. And I've chosen Bona Drag as my sort of album to show in in relation to this answer. And as well because it has actually got the song Disappointed on here on this compilation album. And we know we're talking about an artist whose character disappoints you, so thought that was fairly apt. And I don't know whether or not this will be a popular choice, but or not with other people playing along. But yeah, I mean it is always a tricky one, isn't it? This one when we all have that choice to separate art and the artist, and you know I would be an absolute hypocrite and a liar to say that there isn't things he's done, a lot of things he's done that I've loved, hence them being in my collection. His work with the Smiths, for instance, which wasn't just all Morrissey, by the way. There was Johnny Marr there was Andy Rourke and Mike Joyce as well, and all the collaborations over the years he's done with other songwriters. And let's face it, he is some talent, is Morrissey. He really is, lyrically and vocally. So that's what I wanted to show. And there are some great songs on here as well. It's a brilliant starting point. If you want to get into Morrissey's solo material, please do get a hold of Bona Drag. It's got some of his very best songs on there, and it is a hugely enjoyable listen. Okay, so that was that one. Answer to that one. Okay. Right, so question number 14. If you had to sell all your vinyl along with your record player, show the one album that you would hold on to as a keepsake. Brilliant question, that. So yeah, I did a lot of thinking about that one, and the one that really did sort of come to me pretty quickly was Straight Up by Badfinger. Love this album so much. It's very much a go-to album for me. I play it a lot. I actually surprised myself at how often I play this, and I only say that because of how many albums I've got in my collection. But I just find myself coming back to it so often. It's just a lovely listen, and I think the reason I would keep this one over everything is just because of the journey I've had with it. When I bought this, it was absolutely. I mean, it's a pretty beaten up and battered copy, really. The vinyl itself has definitely seen better days, but I've persevered with it. I've cleaned it up so many times, used various techniques on it to basically to get it working without skipping or sticking or anything. And I'm delighted to say that now, after a lot of TLC, a lot of time and energy, this thing now plays through perfectly and it sounds great. And it is just a lovely album, as I said. I mean, look at that artwork for a start. Just a great photograph there of the group. You got the amazing Pete Ham here, and it's I should say as well, very tragic story behind Badfinger. Won't get into it here, but yeah, please do look into Badfinger on the Apple label. And this record here was produced by Todd Rundgren, who's amazing, and George Harrison does some production work on it here as well. So yeah, it's a bit of a stellar cast on this one, and just a great set of songs as well. Baby Blue, of course, will be very famous to a lot of people out there. But Day After Day is superb as well. Take It All is great. I love everything on it. I really do. I do. Name of the Game as well. Just a great album. So yeah, that'd be the one I'd keep over everything. Badfinger, Straight Up, superb. Okay. So, yeah, question number 15. Discuss your VC highlight of 2025. If that's a video, share a link to it, but it could be a meetup or some events. Yeah, this is a question that doesn't require me holding up anything to show. So yeah, the VC highlight for me, without any doubt, was the truly amazing quiz. If I could only remember the name, which Jack over at the Vinyl Voyage was the mastermind of. Just a brilliant achievement that it really was. Putting the quiz together the way that he did. I can't even begin to imagine how many hours of work he put into doing that. The effort to come up with all the questions, all the editing involved in the videos, the way in which he presented it with sound effects and everything else. It was just a really brilliant event, and I was really flattered and very, very humbled that I was actually asked by Jack to participate in that. So it was a brilliant way to bring members of the VC together, both old and new. I'm a fairly newish channel. I'll have only been going for 2 years by the time we get to May 2026, but there were contestants in there who've been going for a good while, who've got huge audiences, and it was just a lovely way for people to get to know each other, have a lot of fun as well doing it. I mean, even though there was obviously a competitive side to it, people were there to try and win. There was a lot of banter involved between contestants. David Atkinson, obviously who's done this tag, was involved in it as well, and it was just lovely just to have the opportunity to play along on the rounds where other people were playing. So yeah, that without any doubt was the highlight for me, and I'm sure there's going to be many people in the VC that would agree with that. So huge respect to Jack for pulling that off. As I mentioned, I'll put Jack's handle into the description box for this video, so please do watch those videos. If I can only remember the name. There you go. Had to remember the name myself there, and I will put links to the videos that show my journey in the quiz as well, so you can go and take a look at them. Okay, right. So question number 16 then. Name your favourite musical biopic if you have one. I have got one, and I do have it on DVD, so I can show it. So it came out in 2007. Went to the Corner House in Manchester to watch it with my wife and a couple of our friends. And the two friends who we went with didn't know the story of this group. So that was a real eye opener for them when they were watching it, and a very powerful, very, very moving story. So that film is Control, and it is the life and times of Ian Curtis from Joy Division. So this was directed by Anton Corbijn, and it is a superb film. There's Sam Riley there on the front. He was a newcomer at this point in his career. He's gone on to have some great roles throughout his career as Sam, including playing Jack Kerouac as well. But here he was as Ian Curtis in Control. So yeah, that was great to see it on the on the cinema screen over at the Corner House in Manchester. Comments here, we've got The Guardian there, gave it a 5-star review, the best film of the year. Film review, again 5 stars, described it as mesmerising, and then The Independent, 5 stars, unmissable. Superb film, honestly. And again, even if you're not familiar, I mean, my two friends weren't familiar with the story of Joy Division or of Ian Curtis, but they went to see it, and afterwards, one of my two friends was very keen to explore the music, because you're hearing so much wonderful music, of course, by the band in this film. You also get songs in there by David Bowie and the Pistols as well, other songs which form part of Ian's own musical journey prior to founding the band with Peter Hook, Bernard Sumner, and Stephen Morris. So it's just a great character study, and a very beautifully filmed piece as well. Anton Corbijn has done a remarkable job of committing that story to cinema the way that he did. So yeah, I do have a lot of love and a lot of respect for that film. So that was my answer to that one. Okay, so question number 17. Give 3 reasons why jazz matters and show a favourite album. Right, so I did struggle with this one a lot, but I didn't want to have two questions that I hadn't answered, because I did bail out on question 12. So this one is a jazz fusion album that I'm going to show, and I do love it very, very much. So I do sort of qualify, I think, a little bit. So I'll show the album first, and then I'll attempt to try and explain why I think jazz matters. So I'm going to be showing here Hot Rats by Frank Zappa. And this one's for you, Jesse, my very dear friend over in New York. Frank Zappa's his favourite artist. So this one's for you, Jesse. And yeah, it is a superb album. Absolutely fantastic, in fact. The more I hear it, the more I appreciate it. It's got Peaches and Regalia on here, obviously the opening track, which is fantastic. There we go. The gatefold there. So yeah, jazz fusion, taking its inspiration from all across the board. I mean, the instrumentation throughout is just stupendous. Sounds great from a production point of view as well. So why do I think jazz matters? Well, I mean, I have to really start exploring the genre in more detail, to be fair. I really do. I have listened to some jazz in my time. I've even been to a few jazz clubs on the continent when I've been abroad and stuff. My wife and I have been to quite a few jazz clubs, and we've always had a really enjoyable time. Just chilling and listening to to that music being played. But in terms of why it matters, 3 reasons David's asked for. I think a lot of it's to do with. I think it's just playing around with space and time in a lot of respects. I think that the great thing about jazz, from my very rudimentary knowledge of it, is that you can take, a single motif, a single melody line, or a riff or something to build the foundation of a groove on or a track on, play that to just kind of get that cemented in the listener's mind, and then going off on lots of different tangents and having that power to improvise as well before then sort of circling back to where you started. So I think one reason that jazz matters is I think it encourages improvisation and exploration. I think it's a great genre in terms of almost, and I think Zappa would very much be an advocate of this, is having a piece of time or an amount of time to do something unexpected with. So I know that is kind of a variation on what I've just said about improvisation, but rather than just sticking to playing something the same way over and over again, it's almost having that freedom and that license to think, well, I've got something here that I can work with, a piece of time, and what am I going to do with it in any given moment. And I do think that jazz, arguably of any genre or most genres, allows people to do that. So I'd say improvisation, freedom of expression, I think is a big reason as well. And I would have to say it just sounds really, really cool. It really does. So I'm going to go with improvisation, freedom of expression, and ultra coolness. When I think of, for instance, a lot of my favourite films by my favourite filmmaker David Lynch, I think there's a reason why David Lynch would often go to jazzy type musical motifs and refrains within his work. Often almost always composed by Angelo Badalamenti when he wasn't using tracks from other artists and performers. I think Angelo had a great understanding of jazz and being able to write things that would just stick in the head. Brilliant for evoking certain moods, especially when you're a mood-driven filmmaker like David Lynch. It can sound very sinister, it can sound very dangerous, jazz in that way. It can sound very slinky, very seductive, and it can also sound very happy and jolly as well. So it's a very multifaceted sound. And I know that we could say that about all genres of music. Pop can sound happy and sad and dangerous or whatever, but I think jazz in particular, there's just something about those notes, especially when it all doesn't quite make sense and the notes don't really or shouldn't really work or fit, but somehow it all just sort of writes itself, and then things get created that you can't help but admire. So that was my attempt at trying to answer that one about why jazz matters, and I really should get into some more jazz music. So if you want to put some of your favourites in there that you think I should be trying to get a hold of on vinyl, then please do me a favour and give me some tips. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, so question number 18, we're nearly there now. You're an innocent man or woman on death row. They give you one last musical request. What do you ask for? Right, well that was an easy one. It's my favourite song of all time. Rather morbidly, it is a song that I already know and I want playing at my funeral. I'm not sure how many of us out there have actually thought about that, but I do very much want this one Will it, I want it to be played. It will be my last request, and certainly now that I'm on death row here as an innocent man, um, I'm now going to be showing A Design for Life by Manic Street Preachers. So Manic Street Preachers are my favourite group of all time. A Design for Life is my favourite song of all time. It's got my favourite ever opening line lyric of any song ever, which is Libraries Gave Us Power. This song, I can't even put into words what it means to me, so I won't even attempt to do so. But this is a beautiful box set of Everything Must Go, which is the parent album of the track. This came out in 1996, the original album. This is obviously a repress of it. It's got loads and loads of bonus features in here. This is the 20th anniversary edition of the album. So it's got DVDs in here. It's got an exclusive book. It's got the album remastered. So there's CDs and all kinds in this. So I'll try and show you just a little bit of it, because I think this might be the first time I've shown it on camera, this one. So yeah, there's the booklet. It's got like photographs and scribblings and all kinds of stuff in there. I won't go through all of it just because of the sheer size of the thing, but it's a beautiful, beautiful box set. It really is. Just get the record there to show actually. And then there's the CDs inside there as well. So there's the album there. There we go. The vinyl copy there. Just a great, great album that all the way through. But yeah, A Design for Life. It's it's just very, very, very special song to me, that one, with its gorgeous like sort of waltz time melody to it, symphonic rock at its finest. Yeah, my favourite band ever, creating my favourite song ever. So there we go, Design for Life. That's my death row pick. I'm going to be shuffling off this Mortal Coil. I want that to be the last thing I hear, with that amazing drum outro on it as well. And I die a happy man with that one on death row, even though I was innocent. There you go. Right, so question number 19. Yeah, here we go. Right, 19. Sell your favourite artist to a new listener. Show one essential album and explain why they should make time for it. Okay, so for anyone who's not tuned into me before, the Manics are my favourite ever band. My favourite ever artist is Prince. So this is my favourite album by Prince. So this will be the one that I will attempt to sell. So this is Sign of the Times from 1987. It is an absolute masterpiece. Just a wonderful record. So the way I'm going to sell it is just by saying, if you want to hear everything, in my opinion, that Prince had to offer as an artist, in terms of his different personality, quirks, the kind of the playful Prince, the sort of the seductive Prince with like the slow jam stuff, the dirty minded Prince, the sheer rock, the rock god Prince with the guitar virtuosity of a song like I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man. He even kind of out U2's U2 on The Cross. It's going to be a beautiful night. It sounds to me like the greatest thing that Earth, Wind and Fire never produced, never recorded. You got Playing the Sunshine on there, which is almost like psychedelic pop. The Ballad of Dorothy Parker is just immense, extremely underrated song in his discography. Starfish and Coffee, Slow Love is just incredible. But then he can create a mood with a song like Slow Love, which is beautiful, and then the next thing you've got a track like Hot Thing. So Prince was never afraid to mix it up, and of course you've got You Got the Look on here as well. His duet with Sheena Easton, brilliant song, and I mean the opening track, Sign of the Times. Arguably his greatest ever social commentary piece. The lyrics today still hit home incredibly hard. So yeah, that's my selling for this album. It's a masterpiece. It really is. It's my favourite ever Prince album. Never tire of hearing of it. It's a big listen. It's over 2 discs, but it's worth every second in my opinion. It really is. Just totally on fire at this stage in his career. Prince had a few dips in places, but that 80s run that he had, from Dirty Mind was fantastic, Controversy, Purple Rain, of course, Around the World in a Day, Parade, Sign of the Times, Love Sexy, really, really good albums. The Black Album as well, just all done round that time, just with that 80s streak. amazing. But yeah, that's my pick of the bunch of Prince is that. And I'm a huge Prince fan. I don't want to get started on Prince because I won't shut up. So, and I go on long enough as it is. So there we go. Please do listen to that one. Hope I sold it well to you all. I mean, look at that artwork as well. How could you not want to listen to that? Music for every mood on that one. And everything on there is all being done by Prince. Arranged, composed, performed, music, lyrics, everything. It's Prince, just in full flow. The artist in full flow. Amazing to listen to that. Okay, so question number 20 then to finish off. You're arranging a VC meet up in 2026. Excluding those you've already met, invite 3 people you'd most like to meet. Okay, so Jack very kindly invited me on his jaunt with VC people. So thank you very much, Jack. I would have chosen Jack myself, but I've already been invited. So I thought I would choose 3 other people instead, and Jack, can either join us or we can go and join Jack and the other 2 that he's invited me along with, and we'd have a bit of a. I tried to imagine it'd be a bit of viral hunting involved. Certainly, having a few beers, just having a really good banter, really good chat. Obviously talking about music and everything else in between. And yeah, I could just imagine it being a really great day out. And I've not met any people in person from the VCs yet, but I would love to do that in the future. So the three people I'm gonna give a shout out to, and I'll put links to all their channels in my description box for the video. Is I'm going to go for Gordon over at I Dig Vinyl, who was a friend of Jack's. I believe they were actually former bandmates as well many years ago. So Gordon up in Scotland, I Dig Vinyl. I would invite him for us to have a meet up. I would also love to invite Midge from Midge's Vinyl Gems. Great guy, brilliant person, and love watching his channel, love watching Gordon's as well, of course. They're just showing some brilliant music off on their channels, and I love their presentation style as well. So I think I would definitely learn a lot more about music from Gordon and from Midge. That'd be a really great day. And then to round off my invites to go along with Jack and his invitation, I would love to meet Rob Walker, who is a legend in the VC. Rob is geographically located the nearest to me, with obviously Gordon and Jack are up in Scotland. I think Midge is in Yorkshire, and I think Rob isn't too far away from me at all. So I'd love to meet Rob, and I want to give a special shout out to Rob because he's been a huge, a really big source of support to me from right from when I started on day one. So when I recorded my first ever video, my intro vid, Rob very kindly commented, gave me a very warm welcome to the VC, which I always really appreciated. I really did. It made me feel comfortable, and it made me feel like I wanted to have that confidence to keep trying to make videos, because when you're starting out, it's can be a little bit daunting. But that welcome from Rob was really appreciated, and I just love watching Rob and his channel. He's got his beautiful cat Curtis as well, and he's just got such great things to say about music, and he's into a lot of stuff that I love personally. I think from being from a similar area, there's a lot of bands that we both have in common and gravitate towards. And I would have to pick his brains as well about fantasy football, because he is some fantasy football player. I am playing in a league that was set up by Gav Axman Spins, another great channel. Please do check out Gav. He's brilliant as well. And if I could invite more people over for this party that we're having, this meet-up, I'd definitely get Gav in there as well. So many people. And Rob is flying in that league, absolutely flying. So, and I would like to find out what the secret is to his fantasy football prowess, because he's absolutely tearing that league up at the moment and doing very well. So yeah, big shout out to Rob, big shout out to Gordon and to Midge as well. So that would be my answer for the final question of this tag. Okay, so that is me at the end. So I really do hope, everyone, that you've enjoyed that. Again, I just want to say thank you so much to David Atkinson for taking on the the mantle of doing the tag for this year. Those questions were truly brilliant, and thanks again to Jack for the shout out as well. So if you enjoyed what I did today, then please do put a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it if you did. And if you would like to join me in taking refuge in records, then please do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. I'd be massively grateful if you would. And please don't forget, if you do make that decision, to click your notification bell, and it'll give you all updates of when I've got future content landing. So I'm going to be taking a break now at the time of recording. Right nearly like a week before Christmas now, when I've uploaded and done this video. So I'm going to take some time off now from the channel for the Christmas and New Year break, and then I'll be coming back in 2026 with some new content. So for anyone new who's tuning in to me, and you do want to see what I've been up to over 2025, then please do check out some of my other videos. I'd be really grateful. And last, as always, please do get involved in the comments as well. Let me know of what you thought of the picks that I've shown today. Would you have answered them differently? Is there anything that you agreed with, disagreed with? Please do let me know. Any jazz recommendations as well, do let me know about those. And yeah, a lot of fun. Really enjoyed doing that one. So until next time, take care, everybody. Have a great Christmas as well. I should mention that. Very Merry Christmas to you all. Have a very happy and a very safe holiday season, and all the very, very best for the new year as well. Thank you. Bye now.